That's her. That's the girl that Frank was following.
I think she found something.
What happens to poor people in this city wasn't news yesterday, and it won't be tomorrow.
Where's everybody go?
Mostly just disappear.
There were very strong themes of racism and specifically institutionalized racism. So I'm curious how specifically as a white man you approach that.
In some ways, the initial approach to those themes was as a writer, you know, because the book does not deal with that. The book is almost entirely about this character who has Tourette syndrome and obsessive compulsive tendencies, who initially just sets out to solve the killing of his only friend, really. And that's what came from the book. I decided to weave that into some of the social history of what happened in New York in the 50s. It's hard sometimes to totally understand what's going on in the history that you're living in, but there's a lot at play that you can't see. The past, sometimes because we have more clarity on what actually happened, it can teach us certain lessons about what we ought to be paying more attention to now.
I was fascinated to know, as you speak to the discrimination, about the real history. Like, we have, there's a moment in the film where we discover that the bridges were lowered on the way to the beaches so that the buses that a lot of, minorities and poor people that would have used for transportation couldn't get to the beaches. And I was astounded by that. So, there was a lot of historical, fact in the film as well that really illuminated the power structure of New York.
Things that we are still grappling with in New York are not things that happened by osmosis. They actually happened amazingly because there was a single individual with a very autocratic and racist approach to the modernization of infrastructure in New York, and he baked his discrimination, his impulses toward discrimination, racism, literally into the infrastructure of the city in ways that are almost hard to believe. These are the things that sound like conspiracy theory but it's important to know that they're not. It's important to know that, like,
It was intentional.
yeah, that it was systemic and designed with intent.
And I think that it was so poignant that you specifically chose, and not to give away too much, but I'm about to give it away, to say the word rape. So when we talk specifically about a black woman and a white man, you chose to say, you mean you raped her.
Yeah, and we're in an era where we are confronting, I think in an extremely overdue and healthy way, we're confronting that it's very dangerous for power to accumulate in places that we can't see it, right? We're on a big, broad institutional level, but what we're also confronting is that there are extensions, there are expressions of the brutality of power, of people who see in their power have started to see other people as either inconvenient or truly invisible, or some people just see other people and their bodies, see women as their privilege, as part of what comes with their power.
We're talking about the 1950s.
Yeah.
A black woman, a white man, and actually saying that was so powerful. So thank you for that.